What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be ranking every single rap album of 2025 in this tier list. And there was a lot of significant rap albums in 2025. We're not going to be going over every last one from underground all the way to mainstream, just a few that I particularly want to talk about. The tier list ranges from no reason to listen to it, which is the worst tier, all the way up to perfect, which is the best tier. And before we start off with this video, just know that this is my personal opinion, and if you disagree, that's 100% fine. Let's begin with the tier list. Starting off with the first album that we're going to be going over in this tier list is going to be Wham by Lil Baby. Wham by Lil Baby is the first album. These albums are going to be kind of going in order from when they were released, and Wham was released in January. Wham is by very popular rapper Lil Baby, who I just am very sick of hearing. I'm very sick of hearing Wham or Lil Baby songs in particular. And this album didn't do any justice to refresh and re-jog Lil Baby. I've never been a fan of Lil Baby in the first place, and I just didn't really think this album was good. I didn't think it was mid, not anywhere near perfect. So for Wham, go ahead and give it a listen. It wasn't good, in my opinion, but just, yeah, I didn't really like it. I think I'm going to place Wham in bad. It's not awful. There are some pretty good songs like Outfit with 21 Savage. I feel like that song is actually pretty decent, but the rest of them, I don't really see why you should listen to them. They're just some generic trap songs. I mean, Outfit does hit pretty hard though, so if you just want to listen to Outfit, just listen to Outfit. Next up on the list is Balloonerism by Mac Miller, and my goodness, this album was so good. From the production all the way to the messages Mac is delivering throughout this whole entire record, this is one of the better albums of 2025. Personally, this album was just phenomenal. So many good, messages Mac is delivering even past his death. And man, just such a good album. Some of my favorites on this record: Miss Deborah Downer, $5 Pony Rides, and obviously Friendly Hallucinations. Those are my three favorites off of this album. And yeah, I really did enjoy this album. I don't think it's quite perfect, but I am going to go ahead and place Balloonerism in good. Next up on the list, we have Can't Rush Greatness by Central Cee. And Central Cee went very viral very quickly in the past few years. He got into beef with another London rapper, H, who H kind of destroyed him, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, I had no hype for this album whatsoever, and it wasn't good. It was not good at all. I just feel like it's the same reused, recycled flow Central Cee has been using throughout his whole career. And yeah, I just don't see why you would want to listen to this unless you just really like that same flow repeated over and over again. In my opinion, I'm going to put Can't Rush Greatness in the bad category. Next up on the list, we have Some Sexy Songs for You by Drake. Drake, this was the album very anticipated, a surprise album in fact, that was dropped right after the beef with none other than Kendrick Lamar, the most groundbreaking beef in hip-hop history. And yeah, I don't think that this album did justice for Drake at all. Nobody that I heard, I should say, I'll rephrase that. Nobody that I heard enjoyed this album, thoroughly enjoyed this album front to back, beginning track to last track. Now, there are some pretty good songs, I have to admit. Give Me a Hug. There's also Nokia. But those are brought down by some of the worst songs I've ever heard. Meet Your Padre. Meet Your Padre. Keep in mind, this is supposed to be the comeback album for Drake after the battle. Drake fans were like, come on Drake, come back with a banger. And he comes back with Meet Your Padre. Yeah, I just can't see this going any higher than mid. And the only reason I'm being generous enough to put it in mid is because it has Nokia and Gimme a Hug. Those two songs are actually really good, and I really enjoy those songs. Next up on the list, the album that was probably the most ground-shattering, earth-shattering album of the year. I'm talking about the I Am Music album by Playboi Carti, an album that was waited for quite a long time. And man, listening to this album, I didn't really think it was as bad as I thought it was gonna be. If I'm being completely honest, the music album wasn't awful. It contained some pretty good songs like Evil Jordan, Good Credit, OPM Baby, Rather Lie. Some really good songs that I actually enjoyed. But those are brought down by the same freaking instrumentals just the whole way through. This album had 30 songs. 30 songs, and I couldn't take 30 songs of Playboi Carti. I'm sorry, I can't take it. I can't take it. So for that exact reason, Music by Carti is going straight into the mid category. It wasn't awful by any means, but it wasn't good. Next up on the list, the Carter 6 by Lil Wayne, the 6th installment in the iconic Carter series, possibly looked at as one of the best series in hip-hop history. And man, what can I say about the Carter 6? There was not really any songs that were interesting to me. Well, any songs besides Welcome to the Carter. I don't know if this song's hated or not. I haven't really seen any online opinions on this song. But in my opinion, I thought it was pretty good. I thought we were going to get a better album than what we did, especially with how it kicked off, Welcome to the Carter. I thought it was a pretty good song, and I thought it was a good way to kick off the album. But to carry the momentum, you cannot have songs like the one he had with Jelly Roll, Big X The Plug, Bells. Like, bro, come on, Lil Wayne. And then, to top it all off, Peanuts to an Elephant, one of the worst songs released this year in hip-hop. This was awful. There is one good song on this album, and it saves it from no reason to listen to it. It really does. It really does. And that one song is obviously Welcome to the Carter. The rest of the songs suck. So, yeah, the Carter 6 going straight into awful. And now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of want to change bad, Wham from bad to awful. Because it's kind of in the same boat as the Lil Wayne album, because they both only have one song that is semi-good. In my opinion, obviously this is just my opinion, but let's move on to the next album. And the next album on this list is none other than Dopamine by Lil Tecca. One of the most hyped up rappers of 2024 with his hit singles Owa Owa and Dark Thoughts. And in my opinion, I don't think Lil Tecca has any lyrical ability. I mean, I've heard a lot of his tracks. They're just so super fun to listen to, super danceable rap tracks like Owa Owa. You know, tracks like that you just find so easy to dance to, which I do as well. I mean, I can't blame you. There's some really easy songs to dance to. So for that reason, Owa Owa and Dark Thoughts are also on this album. But it's also brought down by some pretty mid production and some pretty mid features / songs that are very repetitive in my opinion. For example, Tic Tac Toe by Ken Carson. I find, that beat just a very generic trap beat that you could find in a Wham or even maybe a Music, for example. But I just don't feel like this album contributed anything besides the Dark Thoughts and Owa Owa, so I'm gonna have to put it in bad, unfortunately. Sorry, Lil Tecca fans. Next up, in my opinion, the album of the year. The album with no skips, no bad songs, no bad lyrics, no bad features. I'm talking about Let God Sort 'Em Out by Clipse. This album was the album I was most excited for this year, and my goodness did they deliver. There is not one song that I can think of on this album that is bad, mid. I think just it's such a perfect album. You can't get much better than this. This was a perfect album. Name one song that sucks. Try. You can't, because they're all bangers. My opinion, my three favorite songs. Birds Don't Sing. I feel like that's such a deep track for multiple people, and a very deep track for me as well. Pusha and Malice talk about losing both of their parents. Very deep message there. And at the end, the speech where they're like, you have to respect the people who've lost their parents and make sure you spend time with them. And yeah, very deep message there. Another one of my favorites is Chains and Whips. All of the verses on that song delivered, and Kendrick's feature annihilated. Then my other favorite song, FICO. What a good song FICO is. I just can't really think of any flaws this album has, which is the exact reason we're placing this in our first perfect. Well, why not line up Let God Sort Him Out with its alter ego, its other half, Jack Boys 2. Jack Boys 2, the album by Travis Scott and many more. That was very underwhelming. The first Jack Boys was such a game changer of a trap, rap, hip-hop, whatever you want to call it, an album of that nature. But I just don't think this album delivered with songs like Champagne and Vacay, and you can even consider maybe Shine or 2000 Excursion. I don't really know. They all really sound the same in my opinion, and I don't really think any of them are good besides Champagne and Vacay. So for that reason, we're putting this in awful. Just not a good album, just no redeeming qualities at all. But I do think that Champagne and Vacay lifts it up out of no reason to listen to it. Next up on the list for the rap/hip-hop albums, I have ADHD 2 by Joyner Lucas, and this was a very hyped album, mainly because Joyner Lucas was currently in a beef with England rapper Skepta at the time, and many people thought there would be some subliminals/shots on this album, and I personally don't think there were much shots on this album. I did fairly enjoy this album. I didn't think there was much, there was anything bad on this album, to be completely honest. Listening through it, it was a pretty decent album. I really enjoyed tracks like I Wish I Knew, and my favorite track on this album, Listen to My Demo. The reason I really enjoy Listen to My Demo is because it's talking about how Joyner Lucas came up as an artist, how he wanted to come up as an artist, and then how he saw Jay-Z on stage, and his eyes were like bulging out of his head, and then he saw the same thing happen when he was on stage performing his songs. I mean, just such a cool message Joyner delivered on that track, and on the whole album really was just really decent. I mean, I don't really see any flaws. The people that hate Joyner, I see why you hate him. He doesn't really have that much lyrical depth. I guess that's why you hate him. But if the people that love Joyner, stop glazing him, please. It's not a perfect album. It's not a skipless album. It's perfectly good. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. But it's not perfect. Next up on the list, another very exciting album. We're talking about Don't Tap the Glass by Tyler, the Creator. And man, did Tyler create. Get it? Because Tyler, I'll stop. Anyways, Don't Tap the Glass was a very experimental album for Tyler. I feel like there was a lot of genres Tyler tapped into on this project that I've never seen him tap into before, with songs like Sugar on My Tongue and Sucker Free. He brings that like poppy, really catchy sound to it. I really enjoyed those tracks. To more tracks I enjoyed, Big Poe, for example. Big Poe, a nice way to kick off the album. And I also really did enjoy the Take Care of You, or I'll Take Care of You with Yebba. I thought that was a very groovy, nice, easy to dance to track. But on this record, I didn't feel like there was much to write home about. Just felt like there was some experimental, hip hop going on. I thought it was really good. I didn't really have any problems with it. I didn't really, wasn't any bad tracks by any mean. I mean, I guess I might count Sugar on My Tongue as a bad track, even though it's not a bad track, it's just a really annoying track. But anyways, Don't Tap the Glass is gonna go inside of the good category. I thought it was pretty good. Next up on the list, another very, very amazing, outstanding album. No skips on this album except for maybe one track, and one track at most, maybe even 0.5 of a track. But anyways, this album is Alfredo 2, Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist. And my gosh, did Freddie Gibbs cook. Not much features on this album. We had Anderson .Paak, Larry June, and JID that I can remember off the top of the head. There might be some more. I don't really remember if there's any more after that one. But yeah, what a crazy, crazy good album. Some of my favorite songs on this album include Shangri-La. I really enjoy that track. Ensalada, of course, delivers an amazing, catchy chorus from Anderson .Paak. I mean, what more can you expect? And then almost perfect, probably perfect rapping from none other than Freddie Gibbs. Amazing production throughout the whole record from The Alchemist. I don't see any flaws in this record besides maybe the Larry June feature. I just feel like Larry June, I don't understand, why he's so popular. No offense to Larry, very talented, but I just don't really see like the it factor like you do with The Alchemist or Freddie Gibbs or Mac Miller or people like that. But besides the Larry June feature, this album was spectacular, almost flawless, so that's why we're putting it in our second perfect of the list. Next up, another album I was pumped for. I'm talking about the JID album, God Does Like Ugly. Man, God Does Like Ugly, what a freaking amazing album. But I will have to say, one of the worst albums of the JID catalog. I mean, you can't really compare it because you have DiCaprio 2, The Forever Story, The Never Story, some of the greatest hip-hop albums, in my opinion, of all time. So you can't really compare it in that way, but there's some really, really decent tracks on here. I really enjoy On McAfee. GZ, another good one. I feel like it's kind of overplayed, but a really good track. I'm also going to grab the pick of Community with Clips, Pusha, and Malice. I mean, they freaking annihilated those verses, all three of them. Community brought a newfound sense of sort of like anger and furiosity coming off of JID, and yeah, I feel like he really did deliver, and so did Clips. I feel like I'm gonna need to make a new category just for this album. Alright, we are gonna be putting God Does Like Ugly in the new great category, along with Balloonerism by Mac Miller. I just feel like there's too many places to put, too many places we can't put Balloonerism. I just don't think Balloonerism and God Does Like Ugly does not fit in the same category as ADHD 2 and Don't Tap the Glass. I feel like they're much more better, but they're not quite on the level of a Let God Sort 'Em Out or Alfredo 2. Alright, to move on with the list, it's going to be Starline, Chance the Rapper. An amazing project in my eyes, a nice comeback project for the Chance the Rapper we all know and love. There were so many, and I mean so many amazing tracks on this album. You can name any single track, and yeah, it's gonna be a really good track. And I'm talking about Back to the Go, Letters, No More Old Men, The Problem. I can't believe that we're gonna get a good Chance the Rapper album in 2025. Amazing album. The only issue I kind of have with it is Drapetonia, I don't know how you say it, with Baby Chief Do It. It really slows down the momentum of the album, in my opinion. If Chance the Rapper took off Drapetonia, we could be looking at a possibly perfect album. I mean, so many amazing freaking songs on this album. But yeah, let's put Chance the Rapper in the great category. I almost put him in perfect on accident. Did not mean to do that. We're going to be putting Chance the Rapper in the great category. Next up on the list is Live, Laugh, and Love by Earl Sweatshirt. Another album I was very excited for, and in my opinion, didn't really deliver. I didn't have that same feeling while listening to Starline or Balloonerism, for example, where I'm like, man, this is such a good album, and there's only one or two flaws with it. But I did not have this feeling with this album. I thought it wasn't awful, it wasn't bad, and it wasn't mid. But I'm going to be putting Live, Laugh, Love, good category. Next up on the list, we have the album from Joey Bad But Lonely at the top. And this album was I was very excited for it. I was very delighted when he said he was coming out with an album. The first two singles were crazy good, Dark Aura and Still. And Still obviously had Ab-Soul on it, and Ab-Soul really delivered on his feature there. But when it came to the album, I didn't find any really good, oh man, this track's amazing type of feel besides with BK's Finest. Because BK's Finest delivered with features from Rome Streetz, Kai Cash, features of some of the up-and-coming, New York rappers who have such good pen game and are always overlooked. I felt that was a very cool concept that they got to do. They also had CJ Fly on that track. CJ Fly delivered, Kai delivered, and obviously Rome Streetz. I'm going to have to put this in the mid category. Nothing really awful about it, but nothing that sets it apart from a music or Some Sexy Songs for You. Next up on the list, and I'm going to be very clear and to the point, U.Y. Scooty by Young Thug. You think this album is good? Go listen to Ninja. Go listen to Ninja. Tell me what you think afterwards. Tell me, do you have the same thoughts? Because I sure don't. No reason to listen to it. Our first no reason to listen to it. I was so angry listening to this album, and when it came to Ninja, there's no way you can have that album cover and make that verse on Ninja. You can't do it. It was so bad. It was so bad. I can't really, advocate on it more. Trying to be family friendly, but if you want to dive in to U.Y. Scooty, it's all yours. Go ahead. Next up, on a more positive note, we have Infinite by Mobb Deep, the closeout album to the amazing career of Mobb Deep. And in my opinion, there couldn't be any better way to do it. This album was so fantastic. This album was fan-freaking-tastic. I don't see any issues with this album. And the only reason I didn't have this album in my top 5 was because it is, an older album. Not an older album, but, with Prodigy and Havoc, I kind of wanted to give room to the other guys. But, man, with tracks like Pour the Henny with Nas, or tracks like Against the World and Look at Me with Clips. Clips was just on a boom generational run this year, and this album itself was obviously perfect, and I can't even change it for a second. Next up on the list, a history-making album, not really hip-hop, but we're still gonna count it, Fear by NF. This album/EP was the most pre-saved EP in Spotify history. This was pretty groundbreaking, if I do say so, and I've always been a pretty big fan of NF. He was like one of the first rappers that I listened to and could kind of like connect with and say, oh, he has some good messages in his stories. I really did enjoy Clouds and The Search. I thought those were very decent albums. Not so much for Hope. I thought Hope was kind of drawn out. And same thing for Fear. Fear really didn't feel like it deserved to be the most pre-saved hip-hop album of all time. I mean, there were some really good, really good aspects of it, like the title song Fear. Absolutely amazing song. I love that song. Just beautiful song, beautiful singing from NF himself, and the Who I Was with MGK. 10 out of 10, maybe even, I'll just say 9 out of 10. The NF singing bit kind of did slow down the momentum, but it was still a very, very good song with MGK, who just destroyed his verse. Then Washed Up, of course, where he talks about, am I washed up? Did I lose my talent? Did I lose, the factor that got me into the mainstream and that got people listening to me? Very cool concept. It's been delivered before though, so it's not bad, but it's just another case of mid. Next up is the greatest album I've ever heard in my life. The second to last album that we're going to be going over on this tier list, album by Miles. Tell me one flaw about this album. You can't. You can't. This album was amazing. From Bobo's Chicken to My Way. This album was flawless. This is gonna go. Oh, I'm joking. It's no reason to listen to it. Did you really think I was one of those corny Miles fans? No, that's not how I roll. We're going off of pure amazing rapping here. And Miles, this is what it was meant to be. It was meant to be a no reason to listen to it album. He's just trying to make some awful music. That's his whole thing. He makes awful music. You can't blame him for it. It's what he loves to do. Alright, he makes awful music, and he delivers awful music. Don't blame him. And lastly, on this list, What Happened to the Streets? Oh boy. This album was so bad. This album was terrible. I don't find any redeeming qualities about it, and a lot of people are like, oh, what about the song where he is talking to XXXTentacion and talking about all the dead rappers? I did enjoy that song though, but overall, the Drake feature, Mr. Recoup, if you haven't heard it yet, it's the most generic beat. It's actually a very bad beat. A very bad beat. I wouldn't even say generic. A very bad beat with, just a very unenthusiastic Drake verse. Very unenthusiastic Drake verse. Go back and listen to it if you haven't already. There's no redeeming qualities about this album, so that's why it's going to be another awful. And yes, those were our 21 albums that we are putting on this tier list today. And based on these 21 albums, do you agree with my ranking? Do you disagree with my ranking? What are your thoughts on 2025 as a year for hip-hop as a whole, not just mainstream, not just underground, combined? And what are we excited for in 2026? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.